Hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. We are down here in rustic Beaumont Ranch down in Texas. And this is the part where I ask you guys if you can hear me okay. I'm hoping that you can. I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. I got my buddy Anthony here with me. We're gonna bug him here in a little bit. I'm hoping we don't really have that many people here hanging out. That's all right. That's all right. It's a slow night for me also. So yeah, I just wrapped up a week down at Round Canopy Parachute Team down in Palatka, Florida. Shh! Don't tell my ortho surgeon. I was not supposed to jump until June. Actually, he said I'm not allowed to jump ever. But I had to get at least one jump to stay current. I want to jump master one of the airplanes in Normandy and put Nicholas and Emery and Chris and Kyle Lamb and all those other guys out of our stick. So in order for me to do that, I got to be a current jump master. So anyways, the last day, which would have been Saturday, the last bird, we had two C-47s, and the last pass, I was like, if I break my leg, no big deal. I've got till June to have it heal up. Anyways, wore my good knee braces and just enough wind to counter, and steered it into a nice soft patch of grass and set myself up for right side PLF away from my parachute landing fall, away from my bad left knee. And all in all, it was a good jump. My knee immediately swelled up. Not happy. The drive home yesterday, day before yesterday, Sunday, drive home on Sunday, totally sucked. Yeah, the pain, the anti-inflammatories weren't working, and wherever we stopped to get gas, they didn't have ice packs. So anyways, we ended up just pushing through, using alcohol as an anesthetic. Me, not the driver. Emery was driving. He wasn't drinking. And then, but the rest of driving with, sitting in the car and then driving all the way to Texas, resting my knee. My knee it's feeling better today. Thank you for asking. The cool part is I get to stand up all day long for basically another 11 days where I'll be out on the shooting ranges. We start tomorrow down here. Beaumont Ranch is where we're staying in the bunkhouse, but we're going to be teaching out at this local range called ETTS. Good stuff. So I've got a lot of great stuff for us to talk about tonight. First, I want to talk about our sponsor, right? Venture Surplus. They're sponsoring again tonight. Their link is underneath the video in the description. Venture Surplus brings the surplus store to your door. They've got free shipping and returns. And anyways, check them out. If you guys want military gear that the actual military uses, that's a great place to get everything from poncho liners to polypropylene to Gore-Tex tops and fatigues, all that stuff. So good stuff indeed. Venture Surplus, venturesurplus.com. Check them out. All right. So tomorrow's Combat Pistol 101, we met a young husband and wife combo. They came to check in with us. They're actually staying upstairs above the bunkhouse. They're taking Combat Pistol 101 tomorrow, and they're going to have a great time. The following day is a 2-day course with a night shoot the first night. That is Combat Pistol Carbine, but it's also when this big thunderstorm is supposed to come into Central Texas. So we're looking 65, 70% chance of thunderstorms. And me and Anthony have taught out at ETTS before with some glorious rain. And after the rain comes mud pit.
Yeah.
A beautiful, beautiful mud pit. And that's awesome. It really, really is awesome. Not so much. But anyways, it is what it is. I'm going to change that camera just a little bit so you guys can see a little more of my crotch down here. I know you guys like your crotch cam and everything. I'm here for you. Now I'm trying to frame it up. My head is supposed to be almost to the top. That's what the film crew says. I apologize. I didn't put on a TR shirt. I do have a TR hat for you if you really want me to put it on. But this is how I was traveling today. I know you guys think I do nothing but travel around wearing TR swag. That is not the case. I am a normal person, just like you guys. We actually had this discussion earlier. I'm probably not a normal person, and I guess it's all in how you look at it. I consider myself normal. Of course, that's a bar that I've set in a really weird location. All in all, good stuff. After our mud pool of combat pistol carbine, we're then going to move to their long range, and we're going to do Carbine Zero Mastery, where we're going to focus on that 200 meter point blank zero. And then once we get everybody set up with that, we're going to stretch it out to 300, 400 meters, depending on how much time we've got, how some groups learn faster than others. So that way, your holdovers. So point blank zero, and we've talked about it before, you hear guys on the internet, I do a 36 meter zero. That way I'm dead on at 200. Okay. And then you got the Army guys that say we do a 50 meter zero. That way we're dead on at 200. Well, which is it? Which is right? You might be right. You might be wrong. But the reality is it doesn't come down to what you've watched on the internet. What it comes down to is muzzle velocity of your projectile, weight of your projectile, but also your height over bore. All right. Where those optics are in relationship. So in other words, for you to hit that target dead on center of the head, right? Center of the head at 200 meters, right? You go back to 175, it's coming in at an arc. So 150, it's high, but you're still within 10 inches. And then it goes back. You might, where does it cross line of sight again, right? If it's hitting at 200, it's got to cross line of sight somewhere else. It's never rising more than 5 inches, so it's staying inside a head size target, right? But where does it cross? Is it 36 or is it 50? The reality is I can't tell you. You can't tell me, because there's a lot of people on the internet that try to tell me, oh yeah, Karl, you do it at 36, you're dead on. You're dead on at 200. Okay. The guys that never shoot past 36, they think they're going to hit that center of the bullseye at 200. You might hit the plate. You might. Why don't you zero at 200 and then figure out where it crosses your line of sight closer in? And that's what we do at Carbine Zero Mastery. They're going to actually zero their guns at 200 where it matters, right? And then they'll figure out close in. And what they're going to find is some of them are going to be right at 50 meters. Some of them are going to be at 30 meters, and everybody else is going to be somewhere in the middle. And a good example of that is my rifle running my 1X micro prism, shooting 75 grain ammo. It crosses line of sight at 47 meters, not 50, not 36, 47 meters. And so in other words, if I don't have access to a 200 meter range, I can always go back and confirm at 47 meters if I bump my optic or whatever. So I see somebody ask 200 meters, why 200? Why 200? And that's because the trajectory of your 5.56 round, and again, it varies a little bit depending on muzzle velocity and everything, but what a point blank zero is, and my older vets, you'll remember that the Army does a 300 meter zero. They do a 25 meter, so it's dead on at 300 meters. But the reason why they're doing that is because for them, their point blank zero is a 40-inch tall target. They want to hit from the top of the head to the groin, and anywhere in there is considered a hit for the U.S. Army when they do their qualification courses. Their logic is that by zeroing at 25, it's going to hit at 300, but the arc is higher now because it's crossing line of sight closer in at 25 instead of at 50. So the bullet rises more. So if you were aiming at the head of a guy at 200 meters with a 300 meter zero, that max order, the bullet is going to be above his head. It's going to be a miss. But if you aim center of the chest on a 40-inch target, it's not going to rise more than 20 inches. So when you start trying to decide on your point blank zero, that distance needs to be based on what size target is acceptable for you to hit. And what we found in Special Forces was we want a head size hit. And I'll elaborate on that here in a second. So basically 10 inches, we don't want it to rise more than 5 inches or drop more than 5 inches. And that guarantees you a hit. You don't have to estimate range. You don't have to hold high or low. Out to 200 meters, which is what it is for 5.56. All right. Obviously, 300 blackout subsonic is going to be different. Much different, all right? Your point blank zero is like 75 meters. But 200 for 5.56, 200 for 308. And again, it varies a little bit depending on weight of the projectile, muzzle velocity, stuff like that. Shorter barrels, you get less muzzle velocity. Even with the same weight projectile, you're getting less muzzle velocity. Gravity is going to drop it faster because it is not moving as fast. It's not actually dropping faster. It just hasn't gone as far in the same amount of time because it's not moving as fast. All right. So there's a little bit of that. So anyways, why do we pick a 10-inch target? Why not the full 40-inch target? And that brings us to the last day of the course, which is called Battle Rifle 1. All you guys like to go put on your plate carriers and your helmets with your nods and everything, and you all like to go do pew-pew. That's why all the guys run these 4-inch tall risers now, because it's sexier for them to do pew-pew. And that's fine if you're shooting 7 meters. But the reality, guys, 7 meters is pistol range. I don't want to fight somebody at pistol range. I want to fight if I have a weapon that I am confident and competent with out to 300-400 meters, then I want to keep them at that distance, because they're not going to hit me with shit with their pistol. All those guys going pew pew at 7 meters, and they're awesome, right? They do all their Instagram stuff. They don't stand a chance at 300 meters. They don't stand a chance. I'm gonna wear them out. I'm gonna wear them all out slow. But how? It's because you have to train. So Battle Rifle 1, instead of where like our pistol carbine course, and our pistol carbine course, you're going to stretch it out to 100 meters, but 80% of the shooting is done 25 meters and in. We do movement drills and all this other stuff. We do pew-pew, 25 meters and in, close quarters battle distances. Battle Rifle 1, we're doing 50 to 300. That's where all your targets are going to be, 50 to 300. And we're going to talk different shooting positions and how to engage multiple targets at different distances and this, that, and the other. But if you think about what size target. Now, when I went through sniper school, and I've been to 4 military sniper schools, I did my first one, second ID, next one was the 101st. From the 101st, my unit sent me to the all-army one at Fort Benning, Georgia. And then when I went Special Forces, they sent me to SOTIC, Special Operation Target Interdiction Course. It's now called Special Forces Sniper School. And then I've been to all these other law enforcement and civilian courses, and you get better the more that you train. And that's why I encourage you guys to go out and train with other instructors, train with as many people as you can. But one thing I learned in sniper school was they shot the full, it was called the Iron Maiden. It is 40 inches tall, 20 inches wide. And actually, there's a metric version of that that's only 39 inches tall. But the standard Army Iron Maiden is 40 inches tall, 20 inches wide, width of the shoulders, height of top of the head to the base of the torso. And the thought process, what's the motto of a sniper? one shot, one kill. So the thought process is the bad guys don't know you're getting ready to shoot them. You're that hidden, silent sniper. So you actually have a full-size target. So when you shoot that bullet, if you aim center of the chest, it gives you 20 inches wide and 40 inches tall. It's the 20 inches allows you to make mistake for wind, and the 40 inches tall allows you to make mistakes in range estimation, right? Bigger target. Let's go back to battle rifle one, where I'm preparing you for actually fighting on a battlefield. Picture, and it doesn't matter if it's desert or rice paddies or forests, whatever, but let's go desert. We'll go desert, Oklahoma. All right. The Russians, right? Because you guys love your movies and everything. The Russians parachute into what state was Red Dawn in? That Colorado? Where was that? What state?
I thought it was somewhere center United States.
Yeah, wherever it was. Let's say Oklahoma. Okay, that's some flat son of a gun stuff out there, by the way. So you're looking out there, and here comes 4 Russian soldiers, and you've got your 4 rednecks with you. You understand, right? Because they're 6 foot tall, right? As soon as you pull the trigger, as soon as that first bullet goes off, nobody's standing up anymore. Everybody's prone, and now you're playing whack-a-mole. Head's going to pop up, head's going to go down. So because of that, that's why we decided that to really train, your point blank zero needs to be heads only, because that's what's going to pop up. A guy is going to pop up, shoot, and then he's going to go back down. So Battle Rifle 1, I actually had special chest plates made for this course, Battle Rifle 1. I'm going to have to teach a bunch of these courses to pay them off. But they are basically from the nipples up, and that's to represent a guy that's in the prone shooting at you. All right, so you've got steel plates instead of a full Iron Maiden now. They are only, they're not very tall at all. And so you're basically looking at headshots. So that's why we do a 200-meter point blank zero. I appreciate you guys asking. I know technically you didn't ask. I got it. I understand. We don't have any super chats yet. That's kind of funny. All right. So anyways, I get done doing Battle Rifle 1, and I'm really, this will be actually my first time teaching this course. This is a new course for us. What I did was, because a lot of you guys have been asking for, hey Karl, we've done pistol carbine, we've done advanced pistol carbine, we've done your low light, no light course with night vision, we've done your CQB courses. We want to start, team stuff. We want to start doing tactics and everything. Battle Rifle 2, you will be working as a fire team. We get into team movement a little bit, and teams working with teams in the advanced pistol carbine course, but it's more of an introduction, all right? But so I understand what everybody wants, but you've heard the term, you don't know what you don't know. So okay, I know what you want. Colorado, by the way, is what JT said. Not Wolverines. What is it?
Yeah, it's the Wolverines, but it's
what's the name of the movie?
Jeez, you just mentioned it.
I just said it. Anyways,
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. More important than the tactics is you being able to hit what you're shooting at. So we're gonna start. I started like, well, what do they need to know? What do I want them to know in Battle Rifle 1 before we do Battle Rifle 2, where we're going to jump into the tactics? And I was like, well, they need to. You got to use gear. So basically, a 3-day pack. All right, using a 3-day pack to stabilize the gun for longer shooting distances. And you're welcome to run a bipod, but the reality is you didn't bring a bipod on your gun when you did combat pistol carbine. You didn't run a bipod on your gun for advanced pistol carbine. So it's like, I want you guys to come and train with the guns that you're actually going to use. So bring whatever gun you got. Now, I will encourage guys that if you just run a red dot or an EOTech and you're going to be on the battlefield where you have 400 meter shots, I encourage you to run a magnifier. And well, it's not required to hit targets at 400 meters. And if you don't believe me, can show you where back in the day we had to actually do iron sights out to 600 meters. Iron sights out to 600 meters. I had a course where we went iron sights out to 1,000 meters, and that's basically what they do at Camp Perry and everything. So 1,000 yards. I stand corrected. You're right. It's 1,000 yards. Karl, you're right. The sights and magnification does not improve the accuracy of the bullet or the accuracy of the gunpowder or the accuracy of the barrel. All right. All it does, it allows you to see the target better. All right. For me, more important is the ability to see, is it threat? Is it not a threat? Is it a threat that actually warrants deadly force? All right. I'm not one of those guys that condones just randomly spraying on the battlefield and hoping that you kill God's creatures. That's not me at all. When I have to go stand before my maker and you understand, St. Peter's got it all on the hard drive. You understand, you're going to have to answer for everything that you did. And whether it was Iraq, Najaf, Fallujah, Afghanistan, Africa, no matter what CD they put in, I will stand behind every time I drop the hammer on somebody. And St. Peter's going to go, that's a good kill right there. That's a good kill. Meanwhile, Jesus is going to be back up on the throne, twirling his sunglasses, going, Karl, I love your work. We get along. All right. Anyways, I don't worry about lightning coming down. I'm not being facetious here. God loves me because I do God's work. All right. A lot of people need killing. There really is. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So so I built the course off of what people need to have. So we're going to go over using packs and different ways to set up. If they show up with body armor, that's fine. Just understand there are ways to set up your body armor so you can go prone better than other ways to do it. You want your front as slick as possible. I used to run a chest rig, and what that allowed me to do, I could still keep my pack on my back. All I had to do was unclip one buckle, and then I could actually lay that whole vest forward. So while I'm shooting, all my mags are right here in front of me, along with my radio, my med kit and stuff. It allowed me to get my body lower to the ground. And people that don't think that's important have never been shot at, because I'm here to tell you, when the bullets start going by, you'll try to hide behind the curb on the road, a crack in the pavement. You'll be trying to hide behind it. If you can get a little bit lower, you're going to try to get a little bit lower. That's just the truth. So the magnification, I encourage people to bring magnifiers. A lot of people will bring low power variable optics. LPVOs are great for longer distances. Can you use them at CQB distance? Of course you can. But ask the guys that come and do pistol carbine, or especially the advanced pistol carbine course. They are hindered by those LPVOs. They really are. They're hindered by them because you have to have your eyes perfectly aligned behind it. They're not as forgiving as an EOTech is. They're just not. So it slows you down. It really does, especially when you're shooting odd firing positions. You got rain pouring down and everything. You just cannot beat an EOTech for CQB distances inside 100, 150 meters. You're not going to beat an EOTech. But here at Battle Rifle One, I've got two guns. I'll have three. All right, I'm bringing 5 rifles to the course, but they're for teaching different things. But I will have, one will have a EOTech with a magnifier on it. The other one will no, that one's in the back of the camper. Damn it. Damn it. I think I brought it. Maybe I did. I think I brought it. Anyways, but I'm doing a test, guys. It's an upcoming tactical rifleman video on low power variable optics, best of the best. And it's everybody, even Steiner, no, it was Burris. Burris sent one, EOTech sent one. I think EOTech is saying we want to send 2 more. Leopold's has sent some, Night Force sent some, Vortex sent some, Primary Arms sent some. I just wanted, I reached out to them like, look, here's the deal. This company and this company already sent something. You want to be represented? I'd like to see you in it. Like Leopold, for example. Leopold wasn't going to send anything. I'm like, okay. I loved your scopes overseas. I've always ran Leopold glass. But if you don't send anything, I'm going to pick somebody else as the winner. So they sent me like 6 mounts, let alone scopes. And so anyways, I'm not just regurgitating what's written on the side of the box. So it'll be a while before that video comes out. I will film it this summer. But till then, I have literally a stack of low power variable optics I need to test out. So the one that's currently in my gun this week is, I think it's a Vortex 1 to 10. It is a ton of a gun. Woo! Wow. But it is crystal clear. And so anyways, we'll be running. I'll be swapping the different guns to show the different drills and stuff, advantages and disadvantages. We start at 50 meters. And anyways, it's a great course. And again, this course will morph over the next couple of years as I get feedback from students. We'll try to make it better and better and better. All right, I've got, nope, I'm on a live stream right now. I'm not answering that. Well, all right, I got a couple questions have come in here. Please say hi to Anthony for me. Miss Britter says hello.
Miss Britcher.
Right. She's one of our moderators. Matter of fact, she has sent us a few questions. All right, Anthony, you ready to play? Yeah, Anthony's like, hell's yeah, but come snuggle.
I'm doing other work, but sure, I'm good.
All right, you don't have to play if you don't want to, dude.
I'm always up for playing.
All right.
Miss you, Susan.
First one is from Random American. He threw down 10 bones. Contribute to the empty jar. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. You guys understand, if you want to make a small donation to the preservation of Karl Erickson Foundation and you want to do a super chat, I'm all about it. You do not have to. If you want to just ask a question, I understand the internet is free. This is not costing you a dime. So just understand, if I have 50 questions come up, I always give priority to my super chats. And when you bitch, I want to remind you that you didn't pay to be here like a lot of my patrons do, including Random American, by the way. He's one of my favorite patrons. All right, I got another one here. I hope this one's for Randy. Karl, Emery. How many jumps did you guys do down in RCPT? Emery I think he got 6 free falls. He did 1 static line. I was airborne commander, guys, and airborne commander. Yeah, that was crazy. I want to show you these numbers. It'll freak you out. All right, was an Iron Eagle, not that one. Oh, shit. Let me find it. Guys, I'm still looking. Hold on a second, John, Buds. All right. Let me find you a number, because I'm proud of these. That's the only reason why I'm saying I want to show you. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go to WhatsApp because I know it's on WhatsApp. All right. OBC. All right. Cancel. Guys, I took a picture of it. Yeah, dumbass. I took a picture. I got Dane Brammies, guys. Cut me some slack. All right. All photos. Right there. I'm sorry. It was a picture. I'm looking for it on the chat. All right. All right. Total jumps. I was an airborne commander, so I'm in charge of making all the birds turn and get everybody safe and everything. I'm proud of this because this is the most they've ever done in a week. We did 386 jumps. Ain't that crazy? 377 were static lines. We had 9 free fall jumps from the C-47 aircraft, 101 student jumps. We did 2 bourbon barrel drops. I had 2 C-47 World War II airplanes, and we had them come in wing to wing, tucked in. They came in at 500 feet, and Horse Soldier Bourbon was there. They had 2 bourbon barrels with parachutes on them, and we pushed them out right above the drop zone. We had a Cessna flying nearby with the professional photographer filming it. It was awesome. So anyways, I'm very proud of what we did. Yeah, we had a lot of jumps, a lot. It was crazy. The week prior, they had a guy break his leg and a couple other injuries, some that would have been fatal, but God stepped in and saved the person's life, and they didn't get hurt at all. My week, there was a big monster guy. I can't remember his name, from Horse Soldier Bourbon. He hit hard, and he went to go get an x-ray. He said, man, I know I broke my big toe. And he came back and he's like, it's not broke, it's just sprained. I'm like, yeah, but you were hoping it was broke because you're whining like a vagina. He said, yeah, I was really hoping it was broke. I really was. I'm like, no, dude, pain's pain. I got it. But we really didn't have anybody get hurt. The head jump master's wife, CJ, he put his wife through the basic course. She skydives with him, but she kind of tweaked her back a little bit on the last jump, but she's fine. She made it to the banquet at the end. She actually took honor grad for the basic class. We had a great time. We really did. And I'm proud. I'm proud of what we got done, guys. I really am proud of it. And but my knees not proud of me jumping, right? But we got a bunch. We got a bunch of jumps in. All right, we got another one here. Vincent Saint Romain. If you're running MVGs while shooting 100 yards or more, how do you use your red dot optic? Should the sight be on a riser? I know IR lasers will be used, but how should the red dot be used? It shouldn't. At 100 meters prone, you're not going to be able to look through it wearing nods. You're just not. Because when you shoot, you're looking through the top of your shooting glasses. Have you ever noticed that while you're out? Try it. Go prone with your nods. Go prone with your nods. And you're going to see that your nods don't go that high. And it doesn't matter whether you've got a 12-inch riser. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Now, as far as shooting 100 yards or 200 yards, if you're standing or even kneeling, it doesn't matter the height. As long as you can see through it with your night vision goggles, you're fine. The guys that say you've got to have a tall riser to run nods, it makes it a little easier. Yes, it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. We actually used to run them on our guns. I know it's the latest hotness now. It was the latest hotness back in 2003. It was the latest hotness in 99. We would put our M4 carrying handles back on the guns and then put our EOTechs on top of that. If you measure that, by the way, that's the same height as the new sexiness. The reason why that only certain special ops units are doing that is because they have the requirement to also run gas masks and run nods. But you'll notice those units like SEAL Team 6, okay, they don't go prone. That is a hostage rescue unit. They're doing close quarters battle, and they do not go prone. They don't go prone. They also don't do fair fight. So what I mean by that is it's like my old unit. We would always stack the deck in our favor. You'd have an AC-130 Spectre gunship over your head. You'd have F-16s above them. You'd have Apaches below that. You'd have gun trucks out there. You'd have helicopters. You'd have a local assault force putting a cordon up. It's not a fair fight. So, and I want that to sink in because everybody wants to buy nods and then they want to have the tall risers to make it easier. And their excuse is, well, we don't run IR lasers anymore because, over in Ukraine, everybody's got nods. Guys, one, you're not in Ukraine. And two, half the time when guys are running nods, they're not running nods with their guns. And I agree, you do not turn on that IR laser until you have a target. But because I've seen guys leave them turned on all night long, and it's very easy to find them. But if you see a target and the time it takes you to rotate that selector lever, that thumb up front is going from not on the button to on the button, the same time that trigger finger is going from off the trigger to on the trigger. You key that IR aiming laser, as soon as it comes up onto it, you're tacking it off. And it is faster, whether you want to admit it or not. It is faster because you're not having to do this with your nods. You're not having to try to line up binos or a monocular behind it. SEAL Team 6, other units are running quads. Okay, that's $40,000 a pair. Number one, if you can afford $40,000 a pair, you probably have a job where you don't train enough to have the muscle memory to use that. And so if you're running binos, the hardest thing about running binos is not practicing doing your up drills. That's not the hard part. It is changing the muscle memory of how you look at things. And what I mean by that is if all of a sudden he raises his arm up over here and I catch it, if I hear something over there and my eyes turn, but now my eyes aren't looking through my toilet paper tubes anymore. So you have to change the muscle memory that if you hear something, you need to, instead of turning your eyes that way, you have to turn your whole head so your nods go also. And that, my dear, is not as easy as it seems. You guys that are interested in learning this stuff, and you can bring your tall risers if you want, all right? If you want to learn about shooting with night vision, you don't even have to own night vision. We're doing a class this July. It's called our low light, no light class. We do a little bit with flashlights, but 80% of it is actually done with nods. I bring brand new PVS 14s with the helmet mounts, with the head harnesses, so you don't even have to bring a helmet. All right. If you want to bring a helmet, I have the helmet mounts for you, but they're complete kits. And at the end of the class, if and there will Ghost White Phosphor, Gen 2 Plus, auto gated, good nods. If you, I've worked out a deal with AGM Global Vision that they get us good nods, and they're brand new. And the reason why I do it is at the end of the course, because I know it's a big deal for you to drop that much money, drop $2-3 grand on a set of nods. Which, by the way, if you do decide to buy them, you're getting them at basically my price. I'm not marking them up very much because I'm not doing it to make money off the nods. I'm doing it because I want you guys to learn. I'm doing this because I want to make the world a better place. So if you're interested in buying nods, but you want to try them out first, I will have the D-ball aiming lasers there and everything. And we will cover using a monocular over one eye, using monocular over the other eye, with pistol, with rifle. We'll do aiming lasers. We'll do aiming flashlights. We'll do iron sights. We'll do red dots. And what you're going to find is the aiming lasers make life so much easier. Now, I'm not joking, guys. You see guys saying, well, I don't run a IR laser because, I don't want the bad guys seeing me on the battlefield. Number one, I almost guarantee you, if you look at his optic on his 4-inch riser, it's probably an aim point. And if you look at the front of the aim point, you can see the red light on the inside of it from the front. I don't mean to piss in your Cheerios here, guys, but that's, besides having a wider field of view and big glass, an EOTech, a holographic weapon sight, cannot be seen from the front. Can't be seen from the front, unlike all your red dots, right? So I'm not, guys, I'm not making it up. I'm not. This is all stuff that was taught to me over decades. You realize I'm old. I'm 56 years old. I've been doing this literally for decades. We also cover thermal sights and everything. I talk on all the different kinds of night vision, I squared, digital thermal, Gen 1s, Gen 2s, Gen 3s, Gen 2 pluses. There's no such thing as Gen 4. We're actually using the term Gen 4 for a couple of years, and then they were like, no, it's not actually a change in generation. So they went back to just calling that type of stuff Gen 3 or Gen 3 plus, but it's not a new generation. So anyway, you want to learn about nods, please come take that course. Here's a cool part. Let's say you want to buy nods, but you don't want to buy a PVS 14. You already own a PVS 14. Let's say you want to buy a set of binos. Okay, cool. Tell me what you want. I'll give you what I can get it for that price. And I'll give you a couple different options. And you'll go, Karl, I want a Gen 3 Ghost White Phosphor auto-gated BVNDs, binos. Roger that. It does not come with a helmet mount. Roger that. You'll buy the helmet mount too. You pay at the beginning of the class. It's yours. I don't have IR lasers for sale yet, but we're working on that. But I will have PVS 14s for brand new for everybody in the class. At the end of the class, if you don't want them, no big deal. Chances are other people will buy them, or I send them back. Last year, I'm doing that class twice this year, July and December. I ran that class once last summer. It was a hit. It completely sold out. I want to say it's half full right now because I haven't started advertising it yet. But I sold 9 sets of nods, and I think I had to send 3 back to them. And so that's pretty decent. Yeah, it's a good course. Now, back to your question about the risers. That's right, guys. You can run a 7-inch riser if you want, so you can shoot from the hip. You'll still be able to look through your optic, but I encourage you to try that. That works great doing pew-pew, but try going prone with that. And can you get prone behind a 4-inch riser? You can, but that instead of a 1.5 inch, you're going 4 inch. Understand that is, guys, that's 2.5 inches higher. Your head is exposed on the battlefield. And I want to keep my melon right where it is. We've got more questions coming in. I'm going to get off of that one. All right. Next one here. Sorry, Anthony, I'm trying.
You're good. You're good.
Let's see. Whoops, it slipped on me. All right. Annalise and Kyle Beeler threw down 10 bones. Wow. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Kyle was actually down there jumping with us. Guys, if you go up on Instagram, and pull up last week's pictures, you'll see I posted some, I got pictures of Kyle. I've got pictures of Landon he lives in Cadiz, Kentucky with me. There's a bunch of pictures of Jordan Carlson, one because me and Jordan were hanging out a lot. He's a Medal of Honor patron on Patreon. And Jordan's just good people. He brought his lovely wife and his kids out there. And we had such a great time. Jordan actually bid, I would call it crazy. No, I'd call it stupid money. He bid crazy money on a M1 Carbine paratrooper model that they auctioned off for, and all the proceeds go to Round Canopy Parachute Team. So, Jordan, if you're watching, I want to thank you for supporting Round Canopy Parachuting Team. Kyle, I know you were having your fun jumping down there. I hope someday that you'll be able to talk to Annalise. Hopefully she can get a couple days vacation and she'll be able to come down and watch you jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Because while my wife is scared every time my son parachutes, my wife don't get scared about me parachuting. She don't, I love you, but I'm joking. She gets anxious when I jump because of my knee. But when my son goes to parachute, she gets upset. She because she's mama. That's her baby. And so when we jumped, right, I was the jump master that last pass. I'm airborne commander, and I'm Karl Erickson. I'm tactical rifleman, right? So they basically let me do anything I want. I went up to the manifest guy, and I'm like, "Look, man, I'm jump master." He said, "Roger that, Karl. You're jump master." I'm like, "Hey, I want my son on that stick." They're like, "He's already on that stick." I'm like, "I want him to be number one jumper in the door." Roger that. Cut paste. Put Nick in as number one jumper. So while I'm doing all the jump commands and everything, Nick is right there. But one thing different this year was, instead of, you guys have seen the video of me, all right, stand by, and then I look out the door, and when we get to the right spot, I go, follow me, and then I go out the door. My son follows me, then Chad and Emery, Leaf LeBlanc, everybody. It's a good video. If you haven't seen it, it's up online. What we did this week is we're getting ready for the jump into Normandy, France, which is in June for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And how they're going to be jumping it in France is the jump master goes last, and then the safety goes after him. And I'm like, really? Like this, the safety's going to jump also? What about if the safety is a towed parachuter? So who's gonna take care of this guy? Anyway, so we always had an extra crew chief and everything that could pull D-bags and stuff. We did it very safe at Round Canopy Parachute Team. But basically now I didn't go first. So, but what that did though was, instead of saying stand by, you say stand in the door. So I'd been leaning out the door, doing all my checks and everything, which, by the way, we had another plane behind us dropping more paratroopers. But I'm like, right, there's my mark. We just turned over Walmart. That's 1 minute. Come back in 1 minute. Lean out. We're turning on the base leg. Come back inside 30 seconds. All right, we're coming over the tail of runway. Stand in the door. Up comes Nicholas. And Nick got to let go of his reserve and put his hands outside the airplane. All right. Hands outside the airplane. Hold on to the edges of that door. And I tap him, like, hey, stand by. And I look down right there. As soon as we got to that mark, that Juan had his SUV down there with a VS-17 panel on the roof. As soon as I lined up on it, tap Nick on the back, go. Out Nick went, and then we emptied the whole stick, and then I went out afterwards. But basically, Nick's at one end of the drop zone, the runway, and I'm all the way at the other end. And so I get on the ground, and I landed fine. I actually took out my phone and called my wife. Hey, honey, relax. I'm fine. Just want to let you know my knee is fine. Okay, no big deal. Well, she immediately calls me back that Nick is hurt. They sent the black pickup truck to where Nick is. And I'm like, how do you know Nick is hurt? His cell phone is in your pocket, okay? Her ham sandwich pocket. And how do you know he's hurt? Well, the truck, Nick wasn't hurt. Nick landed, but his parachute blew over the top of the big metal sign that tells the airplanes what taxiway number it is. The big metal signs, lights out there. His parachute fell over the top of it. No big deal. They just drove out there to help Nick out. But that poor Dana was scared to death. Scared that her baby boy had gotten hurt. Nick was fine. Nick was very, very fine. All right. Good stuff indeed. All right. Navy 95 threw down $5 minus shipping and handling. See you soon in North Carolina at Mountain Readiness. Question: in SF, what is a SIF or CRIF company, and what are the requirements that you use to get members? All right, it was originally called a SIF, CIF, Sinks in Extremis Force. Basically what a SINK is the combatant commander. So you guys have probably heard the name General Tommy Franks. He was the CENTCOM commander for the Middle East, the Horn of Africa, all the stands. So when it came time to invade Afghanistan, he was the SINK for that area. So his SIF company his personal company of hostage rescue trained Green Berets. That was my company, A15. We were the CIF company, CIF, for U.S. CENTCOM. And every command has their own CIF company. So 7th Group, Central South America, that's C37. Stuttgart, Germany, 10th Group is C110. The Orient, you can't say the Orient anymore. Southeast Asia. You guys understand you can't say they're Asian because technically Russia is in Asia, by the way. I'm not politically correct. I digress. In Asia, it is C11, Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 1st Group. They changed the designation from a CIF, Sinks and Extremist Force, to a CRIF, Crisis Response Element. And just changing the name, the whole budget and everything basically stayed the same. They have a slightly different mission set now, but they've also have to maintain that hostage rescuability. Guys, I'm not going to get into what they're doing now because it is still classified. And even though I signed a lot of other non-disclosure agreements, I didn't sign one on any of that stuff. It still doesn't give me the right to talk about it. But as far as what it takes to get it, you just got to be a Green Beret. And if the CIF company is short people, we prefer to recruit from within the group. But the problem, though, is a lot of your other company, battalion, command sergeant majors, they don't want to give up their good guys. They really don't. So sometimes it's hard to recruit. But once you get in, everybody in the CIF company or CRIF has to go to what we call SFARTAC. It's a long acronym that if I spelt it all out for you, it has absolutely nothing to do with hostage rescue. It's deliberate. There is no badge to go on your uniform. It is meant to be a off the books thing. It's black side. All right. But the whole school is hostage rescue. The idea is for them to hold the hostage rescue mission until the Aztec package can get there from the backside of Fort Bragg. All right. Once you pass Sephardic and you're an assaulter in the company, in general, you'll make your way up in ranks from assaulter to assaulter cell leader, and then you might be an assaulter team sergeant, assaulter troop sergeant major. A lot of your more senior guys will go over to the sniper team. I got drafted straight to the sniper team because I was there when they first stood up the unit and they were hurting for people. They needed sniper qualified guys. They needed a medic and somebody sniper qualified. They're like, hey, Karl, you just got back from paramedic school. We need an 18 Delta that's sniper qualified. I'm like, yeah, I've been to 4 sniper school. So they pulled me in. And so they're like, hey, do you want to go to Sephardic and Halo school? Because the snipers are Halo qualified. I'm like, oh, darn, that's going to suck. Go to like the 2 best schools in all of Special Forces, Sephardic and Halo. So, yeah, twist my arm. And that kind of changed my life. I didn't really know what a CIF company was. I just knew, I knew once I got there that was my home. Got there as a lowly nobody, immediately was a sniper cell leader, and then basically stayed in that unit and retired as company sergeant major. So when I talk about this stuff, guys, it's not like I know anything about it because I didn't spend any time there. I've got no idea what I'm talking about. All right. Next one. Come on. You can do it. Ooh, Vincent St. Romain threw down 50 bones. Thanks, Karl. Awesome information as always. Brother, I appreciate that. I truly do. I appreciate you throwing down some money for it. You guys got any questions for Anthony? Anthony is awesome. You don't have to. I don't mean to throw Anthony under the bus. One thing I will say, guys, is you don't have to do super chat, but I'm trying to put my daughter through medical school, and you understand I'm trying to support my ammo habit. And then did I mention I also have a Jeep with Dana 60, Dana 60 axles, 37-inch tires, and a 6.4 Hemi in it. And I know I have expensive hobbies, but no, seriously though, here's the deal. My whole reason for doing the whole parachuting thing, because I do not like jumping around parachutes, by the way. I promised myself, not even my wife, I promised myself when I retired that I was not going to parachute anymore. Guys, you remember, I was on a Halo team, 27,000 feet in the dark, wearing an oxygen mask, 2 oxygen bottles, an SR-25, and a mountain rucksack, fall for 2 minutes, all right? And then open your parachute at 4,000 feet. You're on the canopy at 2,500, $3,000. And then you got to try to figure out where you are on the planet because you passed through clouds for 8,000 feet. You don't know where anybody is. That's how you get to work. So anyways, I promised I wasn't going to parachute anymore. But I mentioned it to my son, Nicholas, and Nicholas, about them jumping into the 75th anniversary of D-Day. And his eyes lit up. And I'm like, hey, look, the 80th anniversary is going to be the last big party because there aren't very many World War II vets left. And you understand they are the greatest generation right now. They are. And we cannot forget the sacrifices and everything that they did. And for all you guys patting yourself on the back saying, oh, shit, you know, they were all, no. Look at pictures of the people back then. You understand 63% of America is grossly overweight right now. 63%. Right? Look at the pictures of everybody back then, World War II time frame. Go. You don't have to click off of this. Open another window and pull up pictures of guys in 1940 U.S. There's one fat guy in each town. It was like a regulation, like a local law. There's one fat guy in town, one. Everybody else had to work. They had to work hard, right? And you guys patting yourself on the back. Well, they don't have the technology back then that we have now. What do you have? What do you have? Your face is stuck in a phone all day long. Yeah, you're awesome. You understand in World War II, right, which was only a handful of years, they went from biplanes to jet engine fighters in half a decade. Biplanes to jet engine fighters. Right? Go ahead, pat yourself on the back. Guys, they're the greatest generation. They are. So I don't want them forgotten. So me and Nicholas, and by the way, they sold 3,000 slots to jump over there. There's going to be 22 C-47 error-correct airplanes. There's going to be a B-17 and 2 squadrons of privately owned P-51 Mustangs. Oh, and that's not counting all the people that are going to be on the beaches. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a party. And I want to be part of it. So it's going to be a magical once-in-a-lifetime experience. So what I did was GoFundMe a TR class. Okay. Emory doesn't have any money, so I'm going to cover all of Emory's expenses. My son doesn't have any money. I'm going to cover all my son's expenses. But there are other guys that are part of the TR team, and I'm not going to throw their names out there because one of them's in the chat room right now. But this stuff is expensive. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to raise money to, because it's not just rent a slot. It's, you understand, you've got to buy commercial plane tickets to go over. You've got to rent parachutes. Each parachute rental is like $2,500 to rent the parachute to go over there. You get a lot of that back if you bring the parachute back and TSA doesn't lose it. But you understand they have to, it's like a deposit, right? Hotel rooms, Airbnbs, rental vehicles, repacking fees if they're doing 9 jumps over there, repacking fees if you're doing more than 1 jumps, meals. Emory doesn't have World War II uniforms, so I've got to get Emory a set of brown Cochrane jump boots, several pair of World War II pants, the jackets. I got to get it's the stuff adds up. It really does add up. So your super chat helps. Is basically what I'm saying, man. I appreciate you guys tossing some money my way. I hate begging. God knows I hate begging, but I would not have this YouTube channel if it was not for my patrons on Patreon. So for all my patrons that are in the chat room, everything, Jerry, Karen, all of y'all, all you patrons out there, I love you and thank you for supporting my team, my family, because that's how I treat these guys. I really do. Juan J. Robles, Karl, comma, if I have my AR as my shit hit the fan rifle set up with the Army 25 meter formula, is it good to go? For accuracy, I go to my 308 Scout rifle and a 1903 A3 Springfield. All right, Juan, I'm going to assume that you were an Army guy. All right, so understand, like I said, that 25 meters zero puts you back on crossing line of sight again at 300 meters. All right, now that actually used to bite a lot of people in the ass on the quals, the pop-up quals that the Army does, because the most missed target on those quals is not the 300 meter target. It's actually the 250 meter target. And that's because the bullet is high and it's hitting in the head, which is still a hit unless your windage is off a little bit, left, right, or up. Remember, you understand you're a human. So if you miss 6 inches, right, that gives you a 12-inch shot group. All right. But if you're at the chest with a perfectly zeroed gun at 300, if you miss 6 inches high, 6 inches low, 6 inches left, 6 inches right, you're still in the chest. But at 250, that shot group is now up here. All right. If you miss 6 inches low, you hit. If you hit bullseye, you're good. If you missed left or right or high, you end up missing that target. So I personally would recommend you go with a 200 meter point blank zero. But if you're setting your Army ways, run 300, just understand it's made for shooting a 40-inch target. So if you are playing whack-a-mole with a guy in a brick building and his head's just popping up in a window at 300, you aiming at his head, right? Understand your bullets are going to be hitting below him in the window or hitting left, right, or wherever. Okay. Me personally, I'll run that 200 meters zero. And if he's at 300 in Carbine Zero Mastery, we let you know exactly what your holdovers are. For example, guys with longer barrels, like that M16A4, they're only going to have to hold like 6 inches high. A guy with a shorter barrel, 13, 14-inch barrel, he's going to have to hold 9 inches high. And again, it's going to vary, even them guys that have the same length barrel, because he's shooting a heavier bullet or a lighter bullet. How do you figure this out? Reading it and watching a video is not going to do it for you. You've got to go out and collect data. And just putting the app on your phone. And I'm big on using ballistic calculators. I am. But you've got to go out and verify the data. You do. You've got to go out and verify the data. So good stuff indeed. Anthony, I'm parched.
You're parched.
I'm parched.
It's some tea.
What gun did you bring this week? What optic you running on it?
So for my carbine, I just run the EOTech.
Okay, that's fine. That's all you need. Perfect.
That's all I need.
All right.
I got my magnifier though.
Yeah. What kind of magnifier you running?
I got the 5 power EOTech.
EOTech.
Yeah.
Guys, I actually started running the 3X primary arms magnifier behind my EOTech, and it is badass because the EOTech doesn't have a BDC and a like markings for shooting at distance. But if you know your holdovers, you're still good to go. But how about for estimating range? Well, the 3X magnifier by Primary Arms has this reticle they call the Pegasus, and it's just little hash marks, and it's set off to the side. It doesn't interfere at all, but it allows you to estimate range if you don't have access to a laser rangefinder. And I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Let me get up here. All right. Arnolfo, Lou. Lou, how you doing? Lou here. Hey guys, glad to see you at the ranch. Is that Anthony?
That's
Say
me.
hi. Stay free.
How you doing, Lou?
Hey Lou, we miss you, buddy. We miss you. We definitely
I
miss
hope
you.
you're well.
I hope Lou's well. Lou came out last spring when we were here in Texas, and he stayed the whole time. Uh, he did pistol carbine, carbine zero mastery, advanced pistol carbine, and then he did a course we call just the tests, which we've since changed to combat shooting mastery is the actual name of it now. And Lou improved so much. He really did. Lou, you're the man. I miss you, buddy. Lou, I hope you can make Patreon this year. It's in my neck of the woods, Kentucky. You're really going to love it there. It's beautiful. Susan, can you ask Karl, should we train shooting with winter gloves on? Um, I'm not big on training with winter gloves in the summertime. If it's really, really hot, winter gloves I find just get in the way. No, here's the deal. You need to be able to train environmentally. What I mean by that is if you're outdoors and it's winter and there's snow and the wind's blowing and everything, of course you need to be able to shoot with gloves. You need to practice right off the bat at a range when you're all by yourself and nobody will see you losing your cool points. Because what you're going to find is not all winter gloves are good for shooting. Some of them you lose all your dexterity. Some of them are insulated so well, as soon as you try to put it in the trigger well, it immediately sets the gun off because it's so thick. That's actually why if you look on a military gun, you can actually open up the trigger guard. There's a push button there on the M16 family of rifles and the M4s, so you can drop that out of the way, and that's so you can actually shoot wearing mittens for the units up in the Arctic. A little bit of Arctic trivia there for you. But what you'll find is you can shoot with gloves on. For example, deer hunting, when we do Operation Bloodbath in November, I dropped a nice buck and a nice doe in about a minute and a half. I didn't want to shoot the doe, but she was stupid and she looked good. She was a big, good looking doe, but she was dumb as a stump. So anyways, I shot her. The buck had to go, of course. I wear thick gloves when I do it, and I was shooting an AR-10. All right, so you need to be able to train with gloves. Now, one thing I will say is outdoors shooting with gloves. There are certain drills you need to be able to do with gloves, but understand there are some that you're not going to be able to do where you're going to have to pull off your gloves. Right. But here's the other thing when it goes to gloves in cold weather is if it's really, really bad, run 2 layers of gloves. And what I mean by that is have thin insulated gloves, still insulated, but very thin ones that give you great dexterity so that you can do speed reloads. You can clear malfunctions, right? Lock it to the rear, finger bang that mag well to get that jam, that double feed out of there, that you can manipulate all your stuff. You could jam more mags. You can adjust dials on your radios. You can adjust nods. You can't do that with really thick gloves. So rather than pulling off your really thick gloves, and now you've got exposed hands in sleet and rain and snow and wind, once you get them wet, they get cold very, very quick. Thin insulated gloves that give you dexterity, all right, so that you can do all those drills. But then your heavy, thick winter gloves over the outside, you can still shoot with them. You can still do basic things like dumping the mag, doing a speed reload of the rifle to stay in the fight. All right, but then if you need to do things that require dexterity, that next pregnant pause in the gunfight, you pull off your 2 heavy gloves. You either stick them in the front of your jacket or you stick them in your dump pouch. I prefer the front of my jacket because that keeps the gloves warm, so I can then put them back onto my cold hands. All right, but then you can finish that battle, finish that quick fight with your thin gloves. Your hands are going to get cold, but they're not going to get cold as fast. Then when you got that pause, you're ready to move. You can pull those gloves back out, put them back on, and you're ready to move again. All right. Good question. But you understand, here in Texas, I'm not going to need winter gloves right now. There are parts of the U.S. that still have snow, by the way. I just saw something today. There's a lot of Europeans that say Americans are not well traveled. We're not well traveled. Y'all don't get out much. Americans are not well traveled. Y'all don't travel abroad. Y'all only speak one language. Okay, here's the deal. What Europeans don't get is how big the U.S. is. All right. We travel probably more than you do, but we travel in America. All right. You understand, you want to go to the ocean, you take your pick. You understand, you go Gulf of Mexico and there's no waves, just smooth beach. You can go to the Atlantic Ocean. You can go to the Pacific Ocean. All right. You want to go to the mountains. What kind of mountains do you want? You want to go to the desert? You can go to the desert. You want to go to the highlands. You want to go to the Badlands. You want to go to the Grand Canyons. You want to go to Yellowstone. You want to see volcanoes. You want to see 300-foot tall redwoods. You understand, you Europeans, you're well traveled because you go 45 minutes from Great Britain to Germany, or 45 minutes from Great Britain to France. You get there and they speak a completely different language, right? But they're neighbors, all right? Here in the U.S., we have different dialects, all right? If you're from Maine, you might talk a little bit slower, right? But if you're from like, let's say, Louisiana, if you're from Louisiana, they talk a little bit slower down there too, right? But and let's go in the middle. There's a third dialect there. Let's go like West Virginia. Dad burn it the hell, Karl, you could irritate a tree to move. Yeah, see what I'm getting at? Those are more than 45 minutes apart. They're 3 hours flight for each one, by the way. Driving from Florida, where all they speak is meth, to Kentucky, where where you're not allowed to work out. You're not allowed to work out. You have to be obese. And then coming down to Texas, where there's two social classes here. There's rich people and there's illegal aliens. You understand, there's three completely separate. That would be separate, completely separate countries in Europe. So Americans are very well traveled. We are. I
don't think they realize how big Texas is.
Yeah, even Texas, guys, you can drive all day long. If you're at one end of Texas, you're going the other. That's an entire day's drive. And I'm not talking like a day being 8 hours. I'm talking your ass is wore out. Texas is big by itself, all right? They say ETTS is not 75 miles away. It's 1 hour away. LOL. All right. All right, guys, let's see if we got some more here. Next question. Michael Johnson. Okay, Karl. AI, AXSR, Accuracy International, AXSR, or Barrett MRAD, 300 Norma or 300 PRC. Thanks. All right. I don't care what gun you get. I own a Accuracy International AXMC multi-change barrel. All right. I have the 338 Norma. I have the 300 Norma. I have the 338 Lapua. I have the 308. I'm trying to get an MRAD in 300 Norma because and again, remember, I want to say my AI is more accurate. I want to, but when I got that MRAD, I was like, because my AI is so much prettier. The AI is just a pretty gun. It's pretty. It's comfortable. That MRAD is a insanely accurate gun. They have the new MRAD, the new MRAD Extreme Long Range, ELR. The MRAD ELR, if you want to shoot long range, and you mentioned 300 Norma or 300 PRC. Number one, I'll back to that before I forget about it. 300 PRC, guys, don't I understand that's the latest hotness. It is not going to scratch 300 Norma. 300 Norma is a 338 Norma casing, which is a monster, bigger than 338 Lapua. The casing is bigger. And all they did was take out that football 338 projectile and put a 300 caliber, a 30 caliber projectile in it, neck it down, and filled that puppy to the brim with gunpowder. It has got longer range accuracy wise than a 338 Norma, because the 338 Norma is a heavier projectile. It's made for barrier penetration. Most accurate gun I have ever shot is the 300 Norma. Right, 1 mile gun, easy. Now, that said, Barrett's MRAD ELR is they're trying to make it a 2 mile gun, 2 mile gun, 2 mile, and it is the 416 Barrett, which is a monster projectile with a casing that's basically the same size as a 50 cal casing. It's a monster, and it's badass. It is. It's totally badass. But yeah, honest, I'm going to steer you toward between AI and Barrett. I would have you go with the Barrett MRAD and 300 Norma over 300 PRC. That's again my personal opinion. I know that's like the what is it? The 6.5 arc. All right, I understand it's the latest hotness. Guys, it's not going to take off for the same. And hear me out. Hear me out. I know a lot of people are like, Karl, you don't know what you're talking about. It's all over the internet. I got that. It's the latest hotness. All right. What was the latest hotness 20 years ago? Right. What was the 6.5 Grendel? The 6.5 Grendel. Why did the 6.5, which shot flat as snot, by the way, why did the 6.5 Grendel not take off? What was the problem with it? Because it fit in the 5.56 mag. Why did the 6.5 Grendel not take off? Because it easily, for what you could carry, it easily outshot 308. And 5.56 mags, everybody's got them, by the way. Why did 6.5 Grendel not take off? It did not take off because the base of the casing is just a little bit bigger than your 5.56 casing, and that required them to mill more out of the face of the bolt, which weakens it. And for competition shooters, it's no big deal if you break your bolt in the middle of a match. All right, you lose that stage, but you replace it before the next stage. You can't do that in combat. Your gun shits the bed in the middle of combat. Your gun's down. It's out. It's out. You lose that gunfight. You understand? You take second place in a gunfight, you lost. You lost. All right. And that's why it didn't take off for the military. And if it doesn't take off for the military, it's not going to take off for civilians. And there's still people that shoot 6.5 Grendel. I got that. It's a very, very capable round. Well, they're doing the same thing with the 6 arc and the 6.5 arc. Is the 6 arc is awesome. I got that, but it uses the same casing base as the Grendel did, and the guns are going to break. The bolt face is going to break, and because of that, and I know they say, well, this unit's looking at it, and they filled it. I got it. Units are always going to look at the latest and greatest. Any advantage we can have on the modern battlefield, we want to at least try it. But then after you've tried it, now you're going to go, no, sorry, not for us. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's like the 300 Blackout. I love 300 Blackout. I do. I love it. But it's been done before, you know. The 300 Whisper was what, a decade, 2 decades prior, and it didn't take off for certain reasons. It just didn't take off. So, anyways, just because something's the latest hotness, I'm all about checking it out. I want to try it. I'll try your tall risers. I'll try your 6 arc and your 6.5 arc and your 6.5 Grendel. And what they make, the 6.8 Gremlin, and then there was the 6.8 SBC, and the 338 Blackout. Yeah, that's a monster right there. I got to stay hydrated, guys. I'm on the podium tomorrow. I'm teaching all day. All right, we are coming up on 2.5 hours. Let's see if I've got any more questions. I think that was it. All right, guys. Me and Anthony, we got a ton to get ready before tomorrow. I just swapped out a trigger in my work Glock, which means I'm better do some dry firing before I get up in front of the students. I got to check PowerPoints. I've got to do everything else. I also have another student that I'm pretty sure he's coming for all classes, and he didn't let me know. I saw his name on the roster at the hotel, unless he's just coming to visit. But I don't have graduation certificates for him. We'll see. We'll make it work. It's going to be awesome. All right. So anyways, I want to appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. I want to thank Anthony for keeping me company. I want to thank Beaumont Ranch for putting us up. I want to thank all my patrons for their continued support here, guys. Yeah, I know you want to go 2.5 hours. I know you do. I know. It is what it is. Guys, I don't have any more questions. No more questions. I got the bolt. All right. I really want to thank our sponsor again tonight, Venture Surplus. They bring the surplus store to your door. That's where I'm picking up all my military surplus stuff that I need to get. And I wish I had a promo code for you. I don't, but the deals are good. So check it out. Free shipping, free returns, venturesurplus.com. Parting words of wisdom from Anthony. Any parting words of wisdom?
Parting words of wisdom. You just get out there and train. Train.
Hey, you guys know I'm the same way. Do on the others as they deserve. And that's not how that's supposed to go, is it? No, man. I give everybody respect till you give me a reason to take it away from you. And then it's very, very hard to get respect back from me. Stick with what is right. Don't knuckle under just because something is politically correct. Understand you can't change the laws of physics, no matter how politically correct you try to make them. That's just the truth as it is. Always try to do your part to make the world a better place. And if we all do that, and sometimes it's not easy, but if we all stick together and we all try to help our brothers to our left and rights, them trying to flush this country down the drain, this whole pretty blue marble down the drain, if we can push it back 10 more years, 20 more years, you understand, that's our kids, that's our grandkids. Let's set them up for success. All right, I'll see you guys next Tuesday. It's going to be awesome. Y'all take care and shoot straight.